I'm Monica Hollins.
I'm Lauren Brown.
I have about 25 years building community with both private and government entities.
And for more than 15 years, I've been creating events and experiences from corporate gatherings with 5,000 to 6,000 people to neighborhood events through HOAs and lifestyle.
About 15 years in HOA management, starting as a lifestyle director and moving to a community manager. But the entire time really focusing on building that community all the way through.
I'm currently the program director for a leading developer in Idaho.
I started my own company, Outside the Box Consulting. That's where I really work with developers on one end to make sure that we're building amenities that are intentional and that are going to be activated. And then on the flip side, I work with HOA management companies and I train lifestyle directors. And I have to say that's one of my favorite things I get to do.
I really just truly believe that lifestyle is the heartbeat of a community, and I'm really excited that I get to do that day in and day out, and I'm excited to chat about it with you and all of our lifestyle friends.
Thank you for joining Lifestyle Unplugged with Monica
And Lauren.
We are so excited today because we have two lifestyle directors, not one, but two lifestyle directors here to join us. We have Bethany Nelson, who manages a 55 plus community, and Jennifer Flores is an all age community. So I'm going to throw it over to Bethany. And Bethany, can you give us a little bit of background about who you are and how you came to be here?
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. When I saw a podcast that was lifestyle director focused, it was so exciting to me. So thank you so much for the opportunity to connect.
Hey.
I've been doing events for about 12 years or so. I was in a charter school setting prior to crossing the street over to the HOA.
Wow.
I worked here for about 4 years from 2019 to 2023. And then I parted ways to work on a marketing adventure, try something different.
Mm-hmm.
That lasted about 1.5 years. And then I found out that the opportunity had re-presented itself here at Carillon, and I hopped right back over. So I'm a boomerang, so to speak, and I'm happy to be back.
Love it. And before we jump to Jennifer, how big is your community?
Our community is 943 homes fully built, so about 1,600 residents.
Awesome.
Wow.
And you answered the question. See, this is what I love about speaking lifestyle talk is that I don't even have to ask you, are you at build out? You're like, fully built.
Yeah,
like,
fully built.
Bum, bum. I'm like, yes. Predict the questions before I ask. I love it. So Jennifer, take us into your neck of the woods and your background. You know, how did you come to be where you are today?
Sure. So I have over 20 plus years in sales, marketing, hospitality, but all encompassed in real estate, whether it would be commercial real estate, multifamily, new construction, and then now over to the HOA side. So I got to jump the fence there and had a lot of exposure, especially on the hospitality side, working for the Molat Corporation in Green Historic District. And so that really catapulted me into elevating events for the community engagement. And it was an easy fit coming over here to Real Manage and bringing that together into the fold.
Great. Now, how big is a community that you're at?
So the community that I'm at now at Build Out will be 1,331 homes. And right now we have about 600 and some change.
Yeah, for success in certain different parts of the country too. So different demographics.
What kind of role do clubs take at each one of your communities? Because I could envision Bethany clubs are probably a lot different in a 55 plus as opposed to where Jennifer is at all age. Can you kind of share about how many clubs you have and just how did they get started?
Absolutely. So it's hard to estimate. I would say somewhere between 15 and 20 clubs. Our clubs are social. So from pickleball, which is one of our most notable clubs, we just had a couples tournament take place recently. We have women's Bible study. We had a caregiver support group in the past. We have the Knitwits, which love to get together and work on their knitting projects, and it's
gosh, cute.
all
That's
skill
cute.
levels, all
I
ages,
love it.
etc. It really does vary. We have groups that prefer to get together and play cards, hand and foot cards or Pokino. We have a group of people who love to craft that get together. So the clubs, they really are the pulse of our community. I like to think of them as the glue as well, because while it's such a large community, I do think it's probably about 200, 250 people who are consistently, and I would say consistently socially active in our community. So they really do promote the events to the others and kind of do a good job recruiting them in that way.
Oh, that's
Love that.
awesome. That's some
Love
great engagement too.
It really is.
Yes. You say it's a glue. I would say you're probably the glue. And I mean, I'm biased. I think us lifestyle directors need to take some credit around
For
here,
sure.
around these parts.
Myself, the dot connector in most cases. I'm connecting the dots. You are all the pieces. So
I
Oh,
love it.
that.
I love that.
That's
Thanks.
super cute. But I do believe, and I feel like I've said this 50,000 times probably on our 5 podcasts, but I do believe creating clubs is building community within community.
For sure.
It is really hard to create communities just with our large events. I mean, it's a great start and it's huge and it's a great marketing aspect, but the clubs are really for the residents, for them to feel connected to where they live. I just want to make sure we give you the proper props on that,
Yeah.
Bethany. Yeah, especially, I'm sure you're pretty busy around there. Just kind of.
Oh, yeah. There's never a dull moment. That's for sure.
Just guessing. So we are excited to have Jennifer here for the first time, having a lifestyle director ask us lifestyle director questions. So she is going to be kind of your proxy, your person that can ask the questions that you may be thinking and you may want to ask yourself. So if a question doesn't get asked, you can blame it on Jennifer. But we will forgive her because you guys can all get together with us and Lifestyle Director Connect and ask questions if you need it. So Jennifer, thank you
Absolutely.
so much for taking on that role with us. Let's just get going. So one of my big questions I have for you, Bethany, is if, let's say I'm coming to you and I want to start bocce ball club, how does that process begin? Can you take me through all the steps that I would need to do?
That's a great question. Typically, it starts with a resident coming to the HOA office. Hey, do you have a minute, Bethany? Sometimes it's Brittany. Sometimes it's Becky. Do you have a minute? I answer to anything nice. So,
Isn't that the truth?
it typically begins with a sit down in our library, or a meeting in my office. Here's my idea. I want to do a casual bocce league. We want to play on Tuesday nights from this date to this date. I want this many people at the end of the season. I'd like to have a pizza party, maybe on this date. It's kind of they come to me with a great outline with the framework. And all I'm truly doing is connecting those dots that I talked about. So I have a weekly update email communication. Of course, in any lifestyle community, email can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Because if a busy day comes and you send 5 emails, you may get some opt-outs and then you lose some people who would like that information, but just maybe not so much information on that particular day.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Of course, email blasts, any marketing I can do. Canva is a lifestyle director's best friend. At least
love
it's
it.
mine. I
Yes.
love that component, the creative outlet. It rings my bell. So I love branding these events and activities in a way that they can be recognizable to folks when they return. From there, it really is magical what happens, because word of mouth here in an active senior community is gold. So when 1 or 2 people are doing the thing and having fun, they are literally telling everyone else, and the excitement is magnetic here. It's contagious, and it happens really all on its own. I know that's not the case, but it really does feel that way sometimes.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Can I pop in with the quick
Yes, you
question?
can.
So Bethany, what kind of clubs are you feeling that are thriving the best there in your community, or what are you seeing in the market trends that seem to be more successful?
That's an awesome question. Our social or any athletic clubs are typically popular. We're a very active senior community. So our pickleball league is a pickleball club is popping, 50 plus people, some private lessons over the summer. They brought someone in, couples tournaments in the last week, similar bocce ball. We had couples bocce, casual bocce, bocce league. So a lot of bocce ball lovers. One club that really stands out to me and that is truly thriving is a service club called Mats for the Homeless. It's a group of about 25 residents who get together twice a month. They take jewel bags or shopping plastic grocery bags, they cut them up, and they literally weave them into mats for the homeless. They donate them to homeless shelters for people who, who need the extra padding and the extra love to have during the colder months. In the Midwest here, winters can be very, very challenging and very dangerous.
Goodness.
So they literally take shopping bags. We collect them here in our library in a stack in the corner. There's different groups of people. So one group would be the people cutting the bags, preparing them. Another group of people would be, taking them, rolling them into balls of bag yarn, if you will. And then the other people physically weave them into the mats to then donate to local homeless shelters. So
that is incredible.
It is. It makes me cry. It's beautiful. We have such a giving community. It's one of the most beautiful things about the community and one of the reasons that I couldn't wait to come back.
Yay.
I love that. And I love that for so many reasons. One, it gets people together for a common purpose, and you're affecting the community outside your community. And so it just, it's such a feel good. I love that. Thanks for sharing that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
Have you had any club that has been a difficult one to kind of get started? That you know
Absolutely. One that I can think of in particular that we struggled with was a caregiver support group. Of course, being in an active senior community, we have a number of people who are caregivers full-time. And anyone who's been in a caregiving role or a similar role knows that that can be very taxing and very overwhelming and very isolating. So while it's such an important reason to get together, it was a fine line for us as residents because it's a support group, right? We have to be careful. It's not therapy, quote unquote. It's not a licensed professional, but it is a group of people with similar backgrounds and with similar interests getting together to have someone to vent to and to share their celebrations along with their issues with.
Yeah, I would think that one would be tough because caregivers never take time for themselves.
Exactly. And the other issue was some people, being the caregiver, couldn't get away long enough to have that time without securing another caregiver, or so on and so forth. It was a wonderful group. It did not stick here, but it was definitely one that I saw that there were a lot of opportunities that just didn't really align for us.
Yeah.
Do you see that Bethany ever trying to make a comeback, maybe in a different
I
format?
personally would like to see that. I have a newer resident who asked about a breast cancer survival support group, and that was very interesting to me too. It's in my experience, or as far as I know, that's not something that's been done in my community, but it's definitely something I would like to look into, especially when we have so many residents who are affected and would like to support each other in the community.
I like that.
Thank you.
In one of our communities, we did a widows and widower support group, and very similar to your caregiver, it kind of fell flat. That's a difficult topic to just get together and talk about. So
it is. It's hard to navigate sometimes. We do have a group of social singles. A lot of them are widows, but not everyone is. But it does seem in this community that is the niche, and that's, the ladies love to get together and have their social events, and they really do stick together as friends. It's beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I love how they support each other too.
They do.
I think one of the things that I saw one of my lifestyle directors do to pivot that is to do a just generic support group. So it was come forward with whatever's heavy on your heart that day. And,
I
everyone's
like
kind
that.
of connecting and supporting each other through whatever life is throwing at you, because everyone's got something going on, but it may not always be the same thing.
That really resonates. That's actually a fantastic idea that I've never even thought of that.
Yeah. That's
That
what we're
was
here for,
great.
sharing ideas,
I love
right?
it. I do. I love it.
Which, piques my interest because it shows that you started initially with an idea for this social group and you had to pivot. Do you find that you've had that experience a lot with a lot of the social groups that you've started?
I think a lot of it is residents starting social groups, but when you mentioned having an idea and needing to pivot, if I can go back a little bit to when you mentioned COVID. So I started at Carolina with First Service Residential in December of 2019, which was just a few months before the official lockdowns and shutdowns and everything took place. So my entire life, I feel like in this role was pivoting. We went from
definitely.
in-person events and me just getting to know some people in the community, right? I'm a very small fish in a very huge pond coming over here. So there was that challenge. And then, of course, all of a sudden we can't be in person. There were members of the community who questioned, well, do we need a lifestyle director? I mean, we can't really have events. So that lit a fire under me. And we learned to pivot and to roll with the punches in COVID. We went from having in-person Veterans Day. We have 70 plus veterans here, by the way, a very rich group of veterans, very service oriented as well. We pivoted, and instead of having an in-person ceremony, we had a drive-through salute. So they got in their cars, they drove up to the front door of the clubhouse. I had their branch song playing. We saluted them. They got a cinnamon roll and they went on their way. Was it the perfect way? Was it my dream coming true to honor our wonderful veterans? No. Did it get the job done in a time where we were all nervous, scared, navigating uncharted waters? Absolutely.
Yes.
We did a similar thing with Trunk or Treat. That was drive-through. Everyone put their costumes on, got in the car. Mom or dad or grandma drove them through. We had Thriller playing. Nobody knew I listened to Thriller for 3 hours because they're just driving through one time, right? I can lose my mind to Michael Jackson for 3 hours and nobody notices.
That's great.
But again, was it 100% ideal? Did everybody love it? No. Did I get the job done and provide an experience to the children of our community and, of course, to our residents? Yes. So while it's not always ideal, pivoting has been a very large part of this role, not only because of COVID, but also when things don't go as we think they will. I mean, sometimes we plan a trip. For instance, there was an architectural church tour in Chicago. It sounds awesome to me. I would sign up right now. I put it out one person out of 1,500. I thought it would sell out. I'm not always right.
Yeah,
So
been there, done that.
It's humbling.
I think we can all relate to that.
For sure.
I have to say that, the COVID was such a nightmare for lifestyle directors.
It was. And I was a baby one then. I was brand new in this role.
Oh my goodness. I wasn't, but you were. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you had a lot of experience, COVID brought you back down to net zero. Because it was brand new for everyone. No one knew how to move through it, and developers were worried about potential lawsuits, or lawyers were worried because they were like, well, we can't tell you, there's no precedent, there's insurance company, it was just everyone just on 5-alarm fire. No one knew what could happen. Lawyers and insurance agents are thinking the worst because they have to protect the community. And so then it comes back on the community. And so you had to really kind of maneuver through that. And from a resident point of view, you can explain it. And some of them understood it, but a lot of people they didn't like not being able to connect and use their amenities and use the facilities that they were used to having. And so then they're like, well, we don't want to pay for it if we can't use it. But you have to pay for it, because if you don't pay for it, then we can't have it at all. We need to have this so that we can, after COVID, you can continue to swim in the swimming pool and we don't make it a big flower bed, right? We need to be able continue to pay for these things. And so I think any lifestyle director that's and made it through that COVID era as a lifestyle director, and I would even say management team members too, because we saw a lot of people leave the industry during COVID because lifestyle directors, managers were getting beat up left and right. Like why can't we have this and why can't we do this? The reason I wanted to kind of hone on COVID is, one, the fact that you started right around COVID and you're on the other side in the same position is kudos to you, hats off, because a lot of the lifestyle directors that were brand new around that time, they got cut because of that reason that you mentioned. Like, what are they going to do?
So I definitely felt the heat, right? There was discussion of that. So me being the overachiever I am, I thought I better figure this out so people can stop wondering what I'm doing or what the benefit is of a lifestyle director during this time. Another thing I did was I attempted a national calendar rather than our community calendar or fitness. So instead of, hand and foot cards, it was National Coffee Day. Let's get on Facebook. Show me your cups of coffee.
Oh, cute.
Things like that. And it didn't always work, but we always tried.
Yes. Love it.
Did you, Bethany, when you joined and maybe some of these social groups had, slowed the pace down a little bit, how did you revamp them or get them to get back up to running full steam ahead?
Sure. I feel like the best way for us to do that is just through constant and consistent promotion. So through our newsletter publication, of course, our weekly update emails, we're hoping that if people don't read anything else, they're looking at the weekly update and at least outlining what's happening. Word of mouth, like I said, is phenomenal in this community. So our clubs and our residents really do speak for themselves. But just the email marketing, Facebook promotion, and continual discussion at events and activities has helped to kind of build those up.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
So I want to talk, and maybe you do, I'm not sure. So navigating multiple clubs at one time. So I know that can become overwhelming for lifestyle directors. Like, I want bocce ball on Wednesday at 5, but this person wants bunko Wednesday at 5. And so you have multiple things happening at the same time on the same day. How do you navigate that with your residents or your time, or making sure that everything is as successful as you want it to be?
It's very challenging. And I can say, for the most part, people do get what they want, in terms of the times and dates of scheduling. What it takes is a lot of plate spinning and a lot of triage, right? It's like you have a plan for the day and you come in and, okay, this was my plan, but this is what I need to do first. And a lot of times it's similar in that way.
Definitely. So earlier I was asking about kind of the framework and, if I was a resident coming up to you and do my bocce ball, which I'm really excited to hear. There's so many bocce ball clubs.
Oh, there are so many.
I use that example. It's happy to say. Anyhow, so do you have your volunteers fill out any form to say, this is what I want to do, this is the day I prefer? Do you have them do anything like that?
So right now I have a lifestyle commission that I work with. My commission is 16 ladies strong, 16 residents. So we meet monthly, and a lot of our volunteer or event execution is really carried by them. They are a fabulous commission of women who I love working with. Outside of them, if I have other needs, it's really been organic here. People would come to the office or reach out to me via email saying, hey, I can't always help, but I would love to sometime. So if you need someone, can you reach out to me? And I do, I'll use that list to kind of connect with people and find the additional help that I may need.
That's awesome.
Yeah. For the most part, the commission really does take the brunt of that. But we do have, like I said, a wonderful group of people that like to be asked just in case they might be available.
So the real quick follow-up question.
Sure.
So okay, first of all, lifestyle commission, like that beats committee and group.
I know.
Like,
so official.
So official. Like, I want to be part of a commission. Like, that sounds like I've made it. Anyhow, so lifestyle commission, do they actually schedule the clubs? Like, do you have recurring clubs that meet on certain dates? And if so, who schedules that?
Sure. So typically the club lead, I have club leads, they would take the that lead role, as you will.
Yep.
So they schedule, they meet with me to coordinate. If there's an end of the year party or a mid-year mixer, anything that would involve our main room, our clubhouse space, that would be coordinated with me.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, I was just curious. I know you talked a lot, Bethany, about utilizing your email campaigns. How do you find that you can get more involvement? Is there, if it starts to dwindle down in some of these social clubs, do your leads come and tell you and you'll do another push?
Yes. So for instance, I can tell you right now, we have a magical memoirs group, like a get together and write the memoirs of your life. And in the last couple of months, there's been a little bit less involvement, a little bit less participation. So the lead of that group came to me, a resident, and asked me, could I do a little bit more to promote, or what did I suggest? So what I asked him to do was to give me just a little bio, a little bit of a background about him that some residents may not have known, or some newer residents may not be aware of. And then we rebranded a flyer just to give it a new look so that people can take a look at it in email or on Facebook. I feel like when we refresh once in a while, it's helpful because it does catch the eye of people who haven't seen things. I also really love branding these events and activities because when they come back, they're recognizable. And that really does help the age group of my community too. They like to see that. So it really depends.
Yeah, no, great feedback. Thank you.
Thanks.
So Monica, I know that you have a lot to share about clubs. So I want to be sure that I'm asking you some questions too, because I want to know kind of when you are setting up a community with clubs, what does your framework look like, and what do you look for to help a club kind of take off?
Yeah, great question. So I'm of the believer, I've set clubs up for quite a long time, and I've seen the informal and the formal work in different ways, pros and cons. But I will say that those negative situations have really dictated how I set clubs up now, so that my clients don't have or reduce those negative, situations. So I say that in reference to what I'm getting ready to say. So I have an application that I provide to my sites, my clients, and the application really asks them a series of questions. It asks them, what kind of events or what kind of club do they want to do? What days do they prefer to be providing the club? Do they have a co-leader? Have they done this before? And I ask that not because you have to, but because I need to know how much help they're going to need from me. Like if they've done, if they've had clubs in their past community that they've ran, I'm just here as a resource more so than not, than to actually check in and say, hey, how are things going? More often than not. I think the biggest thing is I have kind of rules of engagement that the club members sign off on and the leaders sign off on. And the reason I do that is, number one, I really want to protect the brand in the name of the community. So meaning that one of the things I put in the application is you can't use the name of the community in your club unless you get it approved. And some residents are like, what does that mean? And so I do this for two reasons. Number one, I do it because the board needs to know who's using their name, what type of club is using their name. And number two, as a lifestyle director, I don't want a club going out there and using my name to get a sponsor that I go to all the time. I had that happen when I first started. Like 15 years ago, I had a hiking club use our community name to go get a sponsor. It was one of my biggest sponsors. And I called him and I'm like, hey, just calling to check on our sponsorship. And he's like, I already did it. I'm like, what? No, you didn't. He's like, yeah, I did. It was a hiking club. And the reason I say that is because you might have a hiking club of 15, but we're looking at a community of like 1,600, 3,000 that their sponsorship can really help the greater. And so what I have learned about, having kind of this application process is I started doing workshops, like club workshops, where I invite anyone and everyone in for who want to start a club. They come in. So I guess this would be at a community that has no clubs. So we're just going to act like we're starting from here on Flores.
Mm-hmm.
So we advertise it. We tell them to come in. We'll have dinner. Like, you can do pizza, something that you can adjust to, and invite them all in, and then go through the application with each of them. And the reason why I encourage everyone to do this is because any questions that they may conjure up in their head when they just look at that application, and let's face it, we have some conspiracy theorists out there that think the HOA is out to get them, that the developer, is trying to cross them. And so when you have the workshop, the whole point of this is to do a step-by-step. Like, this is why we asked this question. Not really relevant, but it helps us help you. And then you kind of walk through the application process with them. And when I get to the whole, question about why can't we use the name of the community, and I explain that to them, oh, okay. And then when I explain why we have rules of engagement, you know what? We expect you guys all to get along. I'm sure this isn't going to be an issue. But we don't want to change. We don't want to create these once there is an issue. We really want to make sure that everyone comes into this club with a good intent. I also just started putting a no hate clause in our kind of a rules of engagement, meaning these clubs aren't to get together to be nasty to each other, to bring the community down. We're all about lifting each other up. And so what that does is it gives a club that may be really positive, and they have that one person that's just nasty, that is just weighing everyone down and may make those 10 other people not want to come anymore, right? They're able to address it because everyone has signed that piece of paper saying, we agree, this is a free club, it's volunteer ran, and we're all going to engage in it productively.
That's good framework.
And then the other thing, thank you. And then the other thing I think is really, really important is I let them know they cannot charge. Because the last thing I want is someone getting their club, going off, and they start charging a membership fee, and we have no idea, right? And then the resident saying, well, we gave them $50 and we haven't heard from them since. Oh, they moved, sorry. Sorry. So when I explain that to them, like, you can say, hey, does everyone want to do pizza? Yeah, everyone wants to do pizza. Venmo me $5 for the next week. You can do that, but charging a membership fee, charging any kind of a mandatory fee for a club is not inclusive. And so those are just some of the things that I do when I'm setting up clubs.
How would you navigate creating clubs where you're excluding a certain demographic, right? Because there's this whole fair housing thing. So it's a 21 and up club or women's only club or things like that. Because I have run into it before with boards that are like, you can't do that. You have to invite everybody to everything.
Yeah, so a lot of it depends on where you are. Like, Bethany is not going to have an issue. She can have those clubs. Where I've seen the fair housing become the biggest deal is with events. And if you are an all age community, you shouldn't be having 21 and older events. And if you are, people need to be allowed to bring their kids. Even if you're serving alcohol, you just don't serve them the alcohol. Like it's like any other place, right? And the reason being is because fair housing does look at that stuff. And if someone were to wage a complaint, and I've talked to people with fair housing, they won't find in your favor more often times than not, right? And so same with kind of clubs, it would be something that if someone wanted to bring their kid, they need to be allowed to bring their child because you're discriminating against them not being able to go. I will say clubs more than not would probably be the easiest thing for people to find a sitter for someone else because depending on their family dynamic. But events are something that are, and then the reason why I say that is because clubs are kind of on a cycle, right? Monthly or twice a month, however the cycle is. So it's a little easier. If you don't make it to this one, you can make it to the next one. Events, like let's say we're talking about our traditional events, they're once every 4 months.
Right.
Or that event is once a year. And so that's the stuff you kind of have to think about when it comes to, fair housing. But can I just jump off of that really quick? Because I think something's really important here is to any lifestyle directors who are listening, if you are having any kind of a club, you need to make sure it's a legal club. And that sounds crazy. Like, of course it'd be legal. Why would we have a legal club? It can happen much easier than you think. Depending on your state, depending on sometimes even your city, if they have really strict regulations, but it's basically the state or the county. But like bingo, for example, in all age communities here cannot be played unless it's in a household with less than 15 people, right? In the state of Texas.
Right.
Okay. So if someone was like, well, we're going to do a bingo club and we're going to have everyone meet at the community center, once a month, and they have 30 people. Don't get me wrong. Bingo's a lot of fun. Even if I'm not charging, we still can't have bingo. So just using that as an example. So whenever you deal with any kind of gambling, make sure that you check your state laws because you don't want to get your community in trouble for a club. And the way around it is we're not going to market it, so to speak, right? We're not sponsoring it, but you're welcome to have it and do word of mouth at your house, but we just can't put our names behind it.
Yep.
Monica, are there any other types of social clubs or groups like the bingo and gambling that maybe someone wouldn't give a second thought to forming? But you made a really great point right there, is making sure that it's legal within your state and your county. I didn't know if there were any others that you touched on in your career.
I think the two biggest, anything that you have to be careful with alcohol, depending on how you're presenting it. If everyone's just, doing something free, that's one thing. But alcohol and gambling are your two hot buttons. So you just have to understand for where you live, if you can do it or not. And then other than that, as long as you're not, violating fair housing. And that's why, and just real quick, that's why you want the structure, that, right? Like that's why you want to have the guidelines and the rules of engagement, because the goal of lifestyle directors with clubs is not only create community within community, it's to fill up our calendar without us having to do it, right?
Right.
That God forbid, and please, lifestyle directors, like you can be there for the first time of the club to welcome them, but this needs to be something that is resident driven and not you being there all the time.
Yep. Popping in, taking photos. How's it going? Great to see you. Keep it going. Awesome.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. Or, and even assigning them to, send you photos or give you a recap. And that's the other thing that I always say too is, part of the application process is, your records are public or open to the community, right? And so, and the reason we say this is because I think we've all heard, well, that's not a resident. What are they doing using our amenities? What are they, doing here? We need to be able to, the board needs to have proof that who's coming to that club is for the benefit of the community. And that community members are benefiting from that. And so that's why it's important to have that structure in place so that everyone coming in understands what the rules are. And so when that angry resident comes to you and says, well, they're all non-residents, you can ask for a report. They give you the report and you're like, actually, none of them are residents except for, Jane, her sister was in town visiting, and she's allowed to have, at least 2 visits, 2 groups, whatever.
Right.
I love stories. So I want to see what kind of stories you guys have to share about clubs. Jennifer, do you have any stories from clubs in the past?
I do. I think one that was near and dear to my heart. I was also at a 55 plus community for a good chunk of my career, and we are right next door to a very popular high school in central San Antonio. So we started a seniors with seniors social club. So the
I love that.
seniors at the high school would come over, and
I
they'd meet
love
with a
it.
group of different seniors, and it would be a different topic. Maybe it would be asking about their careers, because we had just a wide variety of members and their professional background, and it really helped foster some wonderful relationships that still I see on Facebook that are still active, as now these seniors are adults and have families of their own. But that one was probably the one that most proud of and always comes to the forefront.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
I love that.
Bethany?
The standout club for me, I know I mentioned before, being Mats for the Homeless, is they're service oriented, but just the fact that, they're not just making these mats and giving them willy nilly, right? They're doing their research into local organizations. Well, we gave to this one last time, so now let's make sure to focus on this demographic, on this area. Just the fact that people are so caring about others here is wonderful. That's something that stands out. Again, I know I mentioned our pickleball group is large, our bocce group is large. They are just some of the most fun, outgoing personalities in our community. And watching them take it from a very popular league that's already full and making it more specific to today, we're going to focus on the couples. So let's just 10 couples, get our matching t-shirts on and razz each other on the court.
I love it.
It's these people are being their true, authentic, genuine selves, and that speaks volumes to what we're doing as a community, because they're in an environment where they feel safe to be themselves and to have fun doing so. So it's a great feeling.
Absolutely. And isn't that the goal of clubs, right? Is to
It
create
is.
this safe space within
Yeah.
your community, because that's what we all want. We just want to feel safe to be ourselves.
We all just want to be who we are without being judged and have a good time while we're doing it. So
Yes.
Definitely.
check all the boxes with the clubs,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Monica, I want you to share your club story.
Please.
The reason why we have frameworks.
Yes. Every rule has a story. So
Yes.
share your story.
Well, I shared one earlier about the sponsorship, but one that haunts me to this day was I was managing different lifestyle directors of different communities, and had suggested to make sure that we put this framework. So I did have a framework then, but it wasn't applied at the beginning of when a club wanted to do a club, and within that guidelines for guidelines, right? But if you don't get the guidelines, you have no idea. And so we had a garden club go rogue, and they started to dig up common area plants and replace with lavender plants.
Oh.
And
boy.
so, yeah, to have to go back to them and say, yeah, well, the garden beds, that's your focus. Common area landscape is not your focus. So that was a little tense. But that's why I'm so emphatic about making sure everyone understands from the get-go what the expectations are and kind of where their guardrails are, so they can go and have a good time and not have to worry about, replanting plants.
I'm telling that story
That's a good one.
at the next get together for sure.
That's a good one.
It was not good.
What you guys doing? Oh boy.
No, I can't even tell you. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God. And can I just say to all lifestyle directors out there, that is why we ask questions. Please.
100%.
Ask questions.
Always ask questions.
Asking questions is a sign of leadership. So if you have someone above you, like a vice president, anyone, ask them.
Mhm.
Like, and yeah, anywho, I'm just going to stop because it gets me. It gets me.
Gets her fired up.
It totally does.
As far as stories, really, I just have a favorite group that if I know they're meeting, I just want to go watch them. It is in our 55 and up, and it's a game group, but it's not board games and card games. It's the ones where you tie the pantyhose around your waist with the ball, and you're trying to knock cups
Minute to
over.
win it.
Okay.
Yes, or like the granny panties, and you put them on, and they're like throwing balls in it. It is the funniest. It's
Oh
the
my gosh.
all the most awkward, funny yard games you can come up with, and they just do them, and they laugh so hard the entire time, and I
love that. I think that's a great idea. We need
It
to try
is.
and
How
get that
fun.
going here.
Right.
Yes.
Let everybody loosen up a little bit.
Absolutely, and just laugh. I mean, come on. Life's not that
Definitely.
serious, or it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be, right? But like that'd be fun having like a minute to win it club,
Yes.
because that's what I think of
Yes.
is like,
Yes.
and
Right.
each time they meet, they have different minute to win it games. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
I'm just thinking of.
I know my brain is going.
I'm in my head now. Like, can we pit communities against each other? Get.
Ooh.
I love that. I'm always that's me. I like that competitive spirit. But so I the one last nugget. Someone said you had to be willing to make a fool of yourself. As lifestyle directors, that is our role. We really need to be able to be comfortable enough to be the first person up there to sing karaoke, even if your voice is horrible.
Thank God for my vocal performance degree. That's the only time I get to put it to use.
Oh, well then. Or invite Bethany over for her to get started.
Exactly. I can only do the tambourine. That's it.
Hey, that's an important part of any ensemble.
It is. But it is really important. No matter whether you're gifted in it or not, you have to be the one that's willing to break the ice.
Yes.
For your residents to jump in and feel comfortable to do it.
They're
Because
watching and they follow what they see.
Yep.
Exactly. And so that is one tool for success. If you're willing to get up there and just be silly, they're going just to jump on, and that's when it all just starts to take shape. So awesome.
Be
Anything
willing
else?
to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, I'll be the first one here in a
Absolutely.
tutu when we have a fun fitness event or something. And some people like, oh, wow, nice outfit. And some people, oh, I love your energy. Like, this is what we're not going to please everyone, right? But we're going to try.
Right.
That's right.
That's all I can do.
That's
Have
right.
fun while I do it.
Yes,
And we
I
know that
love
we gave it our all. That's
Right.
what's important.
100%. 100%. It gets them more excited to let their guard down.
For sure. Like, oh, look, she doesn't care and she's an idiot. And nobody cares. No one cares what she's doing. So maybe I'll dance too. Whatever.
So that's exactly it. If she's willing to do it, I guess I'll get up there.
Be who you are. The clock is ticking,
Exactly. I just think that's really important. And, obviously clubs are a little different. You may not have that opportunity to do that. But I think it's, something for club leaders to know that if they're diving in to make sure that the people who are coming to their clubs feel comfortable. And so maybe reaching out to their club members one-on-one to officially welcome them to the club, just to make people, especially new residents, we do a lot of our communities do a lot to welcome them at the beginning, but just imagine if you can get a new resident into a club right away.
Right.
Like that's like gold. You can get a new resident to a club that really changes their whole outlook, and makes it a positive experience from day one.
Yep.
Or
Absolutely.
day 30 when they finally get settled.
Sure. It takes a minute.
Yeah, it takes a little bit. But does anyone else have anything to add to our club discussion as we're running short on time?
I just really,
This has been great.
yeah, this has been great. I appreciate all the input, letting me grill you. I think the framework in that application is a great way to start any of your clubs. So definitely going to definitely going to start with that here as we get revamped.
And just
that.
communication. Like, it's really important that you explain the reason why you're doing something. Don't wait for a resident to ask you why, because by then it's already too late.
Very good point.
Yeah, that's sound
Absolutely.
advice.
Yes.
So, well, Bethany and Jennifer, we can't thank you enough for being our first duo lifestyle directors on our podcast.
Yes.
We have really enjoyed this, and we look forward to sharing more with you guys down the road on Lifestyle Director Connect, or as things evolve in your community. Who knows? Maybe we can have an update. And Jennifer, we'd love to, hear how things are going in 2026 when you are rocking and rolling with all these
That's
clubs.
right.
Absolutely. We'll definitely report back. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, what a wonderful opportunity. Thanks again for including
Thank
us.
you.
Honestly, it's an honor to have you both. If you're a lifestyle director, just know that clubs are not just programs. They are a way for people to connect with each other. They're where your residents take the lead, and that's really important to understand. And it's really connection that your community can count on. Because let's face it, most of us do not live in the communities, nor should we, that we are lifestyle directors at. And so we really want our residents to feel comfortable and connected to where they live. We can't always be that one that connects everyone all the time. We really want to create those clubs to nurture those relationships. So thank you all so much for joining Lifestyle Unplugged. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Please follow us on your favorite podcast platform and share it with your fellow community builders. Lifestyle Unplugged is excited to be able to talk about clubs because we've been hearing from a lot of you that you want to talk about clubs. So please continue to share with us what you want to hear about, listen to. We may even tap you on the shoulder like we did with Bethany and Jennifer. But just remember, we are a community as well. And we can really help each other out by just sharing our knowledge. There's no reason for us to recreate the wheel. Communities aren't built overnight. They are built one club, one connection, and one conversation at a time. Bye.